So the Premier League title is a 3-horse race, according to Eden Hazard. I've got a quote right here. He says, Man City and Liverpool, they are both good. If we want to be there at the end, then we have to finish above them. So what that does, I mean, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Nice compliments from a player that I'm not particularly asked about having compliments of because he looks like a little bit of a tit. But, as I mentioned, Arsenal there, Robbie.
The team that smashed up Chelsea 3-0, destroyed Chelsea. Very disrespectful. But you know what? I'm kind of glad that, and I've noticed it with a lot of pundits and that they don't really mention Arsenal. And I suppose they've got good reason to, because over the years we've sort of been in and around it, and then we've always fallen away. So I can kind of understand it. But I think Arsenal are a serious proposition this year. Definitely, they're only 3 points off the top at the moment. They've only lost one game this season to you guys, but that's the first game of the season. That's the only defeat in all competitions so far this season. I think Arsenal, you know, and they haven't even really, I think, hit as well as they can go. So I think for Eden Hazard to be writing off Arsenal at the moment is a big mistake. You know, Chelsea are on a good run, but I'm still not convinced with Chelsea. I thought at the weekend, as I said in the other show, Tottenham first half completely dominated Chelsea. I still think that they're a team that if you get at their defence, you know, you can get joy against them. So it's great. I'm glad we're under the radar. It's good. It's good to be under the radar a bit. It's good for everybody to be writing us off.
The thing that's interesting about Arsenal, Matt, is that everyone goes on about like the November slump, and they've largely avoided that, and that's a big thing psychologically as well for that side. It's just they've kept it ticking.
Tough games in November as well.
I was going to say, Tottenham United away as well, the PSG game. There's been a lot of games in quick succession there you'd look at in the past and say Arsenal could slip up there. And you think that game at Man United, and although Arsenal were criticised heavily for the way they played, they got out of there with a point. Yeah. Could have easily lost the game against Tottenham in the second half. Spurs came on really strong in that, got out with a point again. And like you said there, Robbie, they're only 3 points out off the top of the league. And I think the squad this year as well is a lot better equipped. You know, you're looking at players like Mustafi, like Xhaka, even El Neni, things come on and done pretty well this year. In these going to be tough games over the festive period, we're going to need to dig in, be physical, be gritty against sides. I think they've got players now who are a lot more adept at getting through those matches.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Flav? Is it as simple as 3 teams, or do you think? I think there's probably 4 or 5, really.
Yeah, I don't know what he's getting at, really. I don't know why he would say something so stupid. I think it's ignorance and stupidity rather than him having some sort of agenda. I genuinely do. There's no logic in it. You can't say Arsenal are not in the title race and they're 3 points out. Yeah. And as you say, beat Chelsea. He just comes across as a bit, like I say, an idiot. So.
Any opportunity, mate.
What?
Any opportunity.
Yeah, right, fine. I'm a Spurs fan, I'm allowed to. But Arsenal are fine, as much as it pains me to say it. I do think Spurs are going to come back into form. We'll have a say in the title race. I think in the 3 teams that he has mentioned, the fact that Liverpool and Chelsea have no European football to worry about, and given how hard you lot press and Chelsea press, you really benefit from having that 1 game a week and, being able to rest them when you do have cup games. So those 2, plus Man City and Arsenal, I think are going to kind of be favourites. But it isn't a 3-horse race. It's a stupid thing to say.
Do we go further than 5, though? Because, I mean, like I say, Spurs are on the fringes of it, Arsenal are right up there. Man United, 11 points off the top, 10 points behind.
Let's not go crazy.
8 points behind Arsenal in 4th place. There's people saying, I think it was Martin Keown, and to be honest, I didn't really give a toss what he thinks generally, but I thought it was an interesting line to debate Man United fans. He's saying the title challenge is over. Matt, what do you reckon?
Yeah, you'd have to say so now at this point. If they were in 2nd place and they were 10 points behind, you maybe said he could make that up over the course of the season. But I think having 4 teams there, or 5 teams even, who were ahead of them, and I think not just in terms of the points as well, but you can see a clear identity in all the teams we've mentioned. Arsenal got their way of playing, Tottenham know their way of playing, Liverpool, Chelsea as well, City. They've all got a clear identity, and they're well behind the managers and they know what to do. And I think United is still obviously trying to find the feet on the Mourinho. He doesn't seem to quite know what he's doing at the moment, even obviously getting sent off again at the weekend. So I think you'd have to rule them out of it. I mean, they're only a point ahead of Everton, so if United are still in the title race, then you'd have to say Everton are as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the thing. Like when you look at this Mourinho team, like you said, there's no identity there. They're not sort of scraping wins. They're not actually the wins that they do get. They are scraping. Sorry, apart from that Feyenoord game. But there's no kind of clear way of them attacking games, and no understanding about who's playing where and what their role is. And you speak to Sam Peoples of United People's TV, and he doesn't even know, because you ask him and he kind of claims that he does. But when
There's a lot of social media from Man United fans saying things like "keep the faith," and I look at again. You would Chelsea. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm a Liverpool fan. I enjoy seeing Man United fans scrambling around for positives, kind of thing. But it is. I think the point, Robbie, that Matt makes. Everton fans are pretty dejected with a lot of the football at the moment. It's not been a good season, and yet, you know, there is a point difference between them and Man United. Man United are supposed to be having spent a lot of money.
Yeah,
looking nowhere closer to it.
Yeah, I think to say that they're out of the title race is too early. I really do. Even though I understand why Martin Keown would say that, because it's not if you're he hates Man United, yeah, but. I think there's reason behind it is that you're 11 points behind, or 11 to 10 points behind about 3 different teams. All 3 of them going to mess up. But I still think it's too early. We're only in November, just touching in December. And look at Chelsea. A few weeks ago, everybody was saying, hey, we're out of it. And now they're top, you know. So I think, you know, United, even though they haven't been playing well, they've been a bit unlucky with draw against us, I have to admit. We are very fortunate in that game to escape with a point. They were a bit all over us in that game. Against Burnley, they absolutely smashed them up. They should really have won that. But Rob, they're drawing too many games now. If they can go on a little run where they can turn some of those into wins, I don't think you can say
it's a lot.
With the quality of players they got that they're out of it completely.
No, that's the pragmatic and probably more sensible way to approach this thing, but. They also look at the point of exploding at any minute, and you saw that with Mourinho. The guy's lost it. I mean, I've said it on this show before.
He's under pressure, isn't he?
He's done. Like his days at managing top clubs around Europe are over.
You reckon that?
Absolutely.
You think that?
Done. Man United will be his last top job because the game has passed him by. It's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate for the game because, like him or loathe him, he's an interesting character, and we need that around him. You know, there's only so far
he's boring. He's that interesting.
I think it was quite nice. I think it was quite nice to see that anger from him at the weekend, because so far this season he's been so dour and so downbeat about everything. And you think when he was at his best, he cultivated this siege mentality in teams, didn't he? He was a charismatic fella, and I think players bought into that. But you think back to last season at Chelsea, he was downbeat, he looked unhappy to be in the press conferences, he looked unhappy addressing the media. And I think you've seen that carry on at United again this season. So in a way, I was quite happy to see a bit more liveliness from him in that sense. But it's not the liveliness that you see from the likes of Klopp and Conte, where they're channeling it in the right way.
How many times has he been sent off now this season? Is that
Twice. Yeah.
If you had, because I've seen players, people again on social media trying to defend it. So if you had an outfield player who did that, you'd be looking at him going, he's got major problems here. He's got major psychological issues. He needs to go away and do. You know what I mean? This is like so the fact that he gets a pass because he's Jose Mourinho is a bit weird. But I look, bringing it back, I agree that there will be plenty of twists in this tale just yet. But equally, when you're chasing and you're having to chase down 4 other teams, 5 other teams, you know, that's a very difficult thing to do because...
you're going to have to go and play all of those.
Exactly,
You know, and you know, that point you make about Chelsea and Liverpool not having any European football is a good point. But also, I think that it's going to boil down to squads. And because we've seen with Liverpool now, the injury to Coutinho, how will that affect Liverpool? Because he is the talisman really of that team.
Well, you'll have to stay tuned and watch the How the Liverpool cope.
Yeah, you know,
video next on social.
You know, that's the thing. You know, what I mean, you've seen with Tottenham, all the virals out, it has a big effect. You know, so it's going to boil down to, yes, European football, but I think squads are going to be really important this year because, You know, there's still lots of football to be played. There's the FA Cup. There's still
It's
lots
also
of
the way game has gone. Like squads are so important because everyone's pressing like maniacs now. Like you have to press in this modern game, and it means you take a lot more out of your players. I think we're actually going to end up with quite a turgid end to the season because the energy.
Everyone's been knackered.
Yeah, everyone's going to be fucked basically.
I think,
go on, man.
I think that's where someone like City might have an edge because you look at them on Saturday, they've gone to Mönchengladbach, tough game away, and then they left De Bruyne on the bench and left David Silva on the bench. And you look at the team they put out for that day, and they had Toure still, Sterling, Nolito, Aguero up front. And I think Guardiola was asked in the pre-match interview about why isn't Iheanacho playing games as well. You forget about him. So when you can rotate and leave that many good players on the bench, Sane, not even mentioned him, another good young player. I think that attacking variety that they've got and the way that he knows how to rotate those players and get them into a setup.
Dude, I think you're right. I think it's going to boil down to the European football thing. Is going to boil down to for Man City is what their focus becomes. If they're able to get to a position where, because there's no pressure on them to win the title. They don't need to win a league title anytime soon because they've got some in the bag. That Champions League is all the pressure's focused on that. And it's whether it comes to a point where they've probably got the squad depth to put 2 decent sides out, to be fair. But there is that mentality when players start to think half a week ahead and start thinking, I want to make sure I'm available for X, Y, and Z. That's going to be telling for them. How Man United cope with the Europa League when it returns, that kind of stuff, and whether Liverpool and Chelsea are able to capitalise on a lack of European football. Because what would be typical for Liverpool is we'd end up getting to the final of the League Cup or something, and then the FA having a run in the FA Cup and end up just as many games as we'd have had elsewhere. How do you handle that? But it's interesting. Thoughts then? Do you agree with Flav on Jose Mourinho? Is he finished?
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, if you have an opinion other than that, you're simply wrong. And if you disagree with that, let us know in the comments below. But yeah, which teams do you think are genuine title contenders this season? We're going to be doing a quarterly season review. It's going to be on the Ball Street channel later in the week or maybe early next week, where we look at what the surprise package is, the best players so far in the league, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, subscribe of course by clicking the Ball Street emblem and watch more fantastic Social Club videos.